Hey friends, it is Wednesday. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. I am fighting like a fly or something here. But who wants to be in our video apparently? But anyway, come on and join the Lexi Talk. Hey there, friends. I'm glad you're here today on this beautiful Wednesday. I have a jacket on. I have on a cute little short sleeve tee. I'm freezing. It is 81 degrees here, but my room is like a meat locker. I am freezing. I'm ready to turn the heat on. I am so cold in my room. I am absolutely freezing in here. I mean, I am freezing. I've got my little bossa nova beachy music on in the background. But I wanted to get in today to chapter 2 of Getting Started, Let Them, Let Me. There's a passage that I wanted to read from Mel Robbins' The Let Them Theory. And it struck a chord with me because it's something that I went through back when I had first lost my job and then my car was repossessed. And I talked about it in a previous video. And after working at my job I was there for 8 years total. But after 7 years there, I had graduated from Belmont Abbey with my Bachelor of Arts degree. And I don't think my boss liked it that I went back to school. So I went from being a 40-hour employee, and she knew I was a single mom, taking care of my mom and everything. So she dropped me down to 3 days a week. And I'm like, what? And, you know, people get jealous and people get threatened when you are trying to, you know, raise your vibrations and make life better for yourself. People get threatened by it. You know, like I said in another video, a friendship video about a friend of mine who was my quote-unquote best friend at the time. And she was threatened because I decided to go back to school and I met new people in school, and those people aren't even in my life today. One of them is, and another one I don't even speak to anymore. And it's like, honestly, you know what I mean? Why would you begrudge me that when you have everything, when you have your master's degree in education and you're teaching and have a beautiful job, you just bought a big, beautiful house. You know what I mean? Why would you be jealous of what I'm doing when I'm trying to better myself and go back to school? And people are just so funny like that, you know? So my boss was when I told her, you know, I was going back to school, sorry, you're gonna hear lawnmowers, because of course there was no lawnmowers all day, and now they're freaking mowing the lawn as soon as I decide to make a video. I couldn't make this stuff up. So anyway, and I'm not going to stop, so I'm sorry if this bothers you, and I hope you can hear me. And now the air conditioning's kicking in, like, what is happening today? Yappy, what is happening? But, you know, it's like, when I told her I was going back to school, her daughter had passed away. And I thought the daughter had told her, and the daughter hadn't told her a lot of stuff, come to find out. A lot of stuff. And they're all dead now, by the way. So, you know, they're not going to see this video. They're all deceased. But, you know, I said to her, you know, I'm going back to school. And she's like, oh, well, I didn't know. I'm like, well, I told your daughter. And why didn't she tell you? And she gave me some money for one of my student loans. Not student loans. She gave money to put into my school account at Belmont Abbey. And I appreciated that because I didn't ask her to do that, and I appreciated that. And then after that, she's like, well, I just need you to be 3 days a week. So somebody who got hired way after me got to keep their full-time job, making probably way more money than I was. And but she put me down as the office manager and everything, the training manager and all of that, down to 3 days a week. And I'm like, okay, I see where this is going. So as soon as I graduated, I had taken off for graduation, and I was supposed to come back to work. My graduation was on a Saturday. I took the Friday off because we had rehearsals, and then Saturday was graduation. And then I had Sunday. My brother came to town, so I had Sunday with my brother. My brother left Monday, and I was supposed to go back to work on the Tuesday, and I didn't go back. And they were like, well, were you supposed to come back? I'm like, I'm not coming back until whenever. So I went back on Wednesday. But after my brother left Monday, and I was thinking about things, and I took my mother out to breakfast, and I says, Mommy, I'm quitting my job. And she says, okay, whatever you want to do, I'm with you. And she always was. She was my ride or die, always. And I went in that Wednesday, and I put my notice in the box. And I says, I'm quitting in 2 days. On Friday, I'm quitting, which I ended up having to go back the Monday after that, after I quit initially, because there were still some loose ends I needed to tie up. So I did. I went back. And I was off, for however long, maybe like a week. And that following, after the week I was off, that was, I think it came up to Memorial Day weekend. And I was out with the family, extended family here. We went to Memorial Day gathering, blah, blah, blah. And I'm on my way home. And I get this phone call with this person screaming and crying on the phone. And I'm like, what is going on? And it was my coworker. I couldn't understand what she was saying. So she hung up, and I called somebody else who worked in the office. And I'm like, what is going on? And they were all together at the hospital where my boss had just died. And of course, she wouldn't have called me. They wouldn't have called me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, yeah, she died. Her daughter died from pulmonary embolism. They used to travel a lot and everything, and I think it comes from that, high altitudes, and you get the cramping and different things in your legs and stuff. And she had a blood clot that burst in her heart, the daughter, as she was sitting in her car on her way to the office. It happened. And then my boss, I guess the same thing happened to her that weekend. She kept complaining, going to the emergency room. She didn't feel well, and they sent her home. And then when she went back, she died. So there's that, from the same exact thing that her daughter died from. So I said, okay, I'll be into work the next day, which the next day was actually Memorial Day. This was a Sunday, I got the call. The next day was Memorial Day. So I went back into the office just to help out, to field phone calls and this and that, because there was nobody there. There was the daughter who was the vice president of the company had died. Now the president of the company had died, and she had 2 remaining sons. One lived in Germany, overseas, and one lived in Florida. Excuse me. The one in Florida didn't want anything to do with the business, but the one in Germany decided that he was going to take over the business. Everybody take some sips of water. So anyway, he came, he got there within a day or two, I think, or whatever. And so I decided, well, I'll just come back and stay and help out. And so I guess she had given him an earful, my coworker. So he's like, well, my mother let you go. Mind you, the ink wasn't even dry. None of my anything was taken out of the system. I was still in the system. Everything was still there. It wasn't even like I had left. It was like I was on like a week's vacation or something. So I ended up working for a year. He didn't want to pay me really. And he was paying her, I don't know what, a fortune. And by the way, that coworker, she's also dead. Yeah, I think that office was cursed. And so thank God that I got out of there. So after going back for another year, I ended up being there 8 years. And he had told me that it was temporary. He didn't want to keep me. And I said, that's fine. So on June, I don't even know what day it was. June 13th, I think, or something like that, was the day he let me go in 2014. And so after that, because of that, I couldn't afford to keep my apartment, my lease or anything. And my lease was getting ready to be up and I couldn't renew. So my mother and I started looking for places because my daughter and I lived together. And my daughter was still in school then. She was just starting high school, 9th grade. And so we started looking for a place, and we found this place where I am now, and I've been here for 11 years, and with my mother and my daughter. And my mother, if you're new here, my name's Alexis, and welcome. This is Yappy, And Yappy is my cohort, my personal support chihuahua here on YouTube. Yappy's a superstar. And my mother passed away. What I started to say was my mother passed away in June of 2021. So she no longer lives here. So that's where I was going with that. And my friends here. Hey friends. Hi all my friends. My day oneers. They all call me Lexi. And some of my special friends here call me Sexi Lexi. And that's sexy with an I. And then I have another beautiful friend who calls me Luscious Lexi. So there you have it. Those are all my monikers here on YouTube. So welcome, and I'm so glad you're here. So anyway, I got into this whole long story because in this Let Them theory book, and after I moved, let me finish that. Let me double back. After I lost my job, I had to give up my apartment and move someplace where the rent was not as high as where I was living. And we got into this place on a special. So our rent was like probably maybe 50% cheaper than what we were paying previously, which was a dream. But because I had lost my job, I didn't get approved. So my mother had to get everything in her name. Now, everything had been in my name for the last, God knows how many years prior to us moving in this apartment. Let's see, we've been here 23 years for the prior 13 years. So when we moved in here, everything had to go to Mommy's name, and my name was not on anything. And so we moved in here, which was like not it, but you know, we had a roof over our head and we were grateful, you know what I mean? And we don't live in the projects, but I feel like it is. And all the money we pay here, it's ridiculous. And this place is just not kept up well at all. And that's a whole nother Oprah show. That's for a whole nother video. But anyway, then after, let's see, I lost my job in June. So we moved in September. And because my lease was up in September at the other place, the previous place. And then in October, my car was repossessed. So, you know, it was not a good time. My daughter missed out on a lot of things from school and different things because I couldn't get her there. She couldn't go out with her friends for Halloween, and nobody would come and pick her up, none of the moms or anything. So it was really, you know, like when you're down and out, people just don't want anything to do with you anymore. You know what I mean? I find that. And that's not everybody. Not my friends here, not you all. But I do find that, you know what I mean? When you're down and out, when you're the one who's taking everybody out to dinners and doing things for people and buying for people and giving and doing. And then when you don't have it anymore and you're in need, those people are scarce. Those people go away and they're very scarce. And in this story, and I'm going to start reading to you now, like I said, in chapter 2 of the Let Them theory, Mel Robbins. And she says, not too long after I discovered the Let Them theory, I was sitting on my couch scrolling through social media when I saw a photo of an old friend of mine. She looked fantastic. I glanced down to read the caption where she was describing an amazing weekend she just had with her friends, and I could tell she meant it. As I stared at the photo, I admired how tan, happy, relaxed, and refreshed she looked. And I found myself thinking, wow, I could really use a weekend like that. Hell, I could just use a spray tan. I started swiping through the carousel of photos and realized I was seeing photo after photo that showed an epic girls' weekend away. Brunch, dancing, shopping, laughter, swimming, cocktails. Then I took my thumb and my pointer and pinched so I could zoom in for a closer look at the group shot. This happened to me. There's a fly in here, and it's driving me insane. I don't know where that came from. She says, when she zoomed in closer to look at the group shot, you know, she says, oh, she looked only to realize that she knew every single one of the women smiling back at her on the screen. She says, my heart sank. My friends had all gone away together. You know that awful feeling in your stomach? The one that hits you when you realize you've been left out? I know that. I know that feeling. She says, you try to brush it off, telling yourself, it's not a big deal. But the hurt is real. I should have put my phone down, but I didn't. That really hit me hard. You know, that really hit me hard. Because, you know, same thing happened to me. You know what I mean? I had no car. I had no job. Unemployment had pretty much gone. And I wasn't making anything on unemployment. I was barely making enough to, you know, keep anything going here at all. Barely. And my mother used her whole check to pay the rent. So it was really difficult here for us. It was very difficult. And in those first 4 years after I lost my job, I didn't work for 4 years, waiting on disability, because as soon as I lost my job, that job, I did a lot. I worked in a warehouse there, always lifting heavy boxes. And I worked, even though I was the office manager, I was at the front desk. They didn't have receptionists, so I was at the front desk. And they didn't have a buzzer for the door. So every time somebody came, UPS, FedEx, DHL, any deliveries, I had to get up and walk and open the door. A lot of times it would be winter. I'd have to leave the door open so things could be brought in, unless I had them come around to the warehouse and bring things in the back of the warehouse. And it was just, yeah, so I got arthritis really bad at that job, and just the pain that I'm still in to this day from that job. That job ruined my body. It just ruined me. And so I was waiting. I didn't want to apply for disability because I'm like, I'm healthy. You know what I mean? I'm 50 years old. I can work, but I just couldn't. I couldn't walk anymore. I couldn't keep up. I was in so much pain. I was so slow. It would take me to walk from, let's say, I'm trying to think of something that everybody would understand. Let's say you're at the airport. You know, you come into the airport, you check in and everything, and then you go through TSA, and you have to walk to your gate from TSA. And a lot of times your gate is not right there. You have to walk through the airport. You know, they have those, the ramp, you know, that you can get on, and it takes you, you know what I mean? But most times people are on that hustling, you know what I mean? Let's just say, to walk from, let's say, TSA to the gate, right? This is the only analogy I could think of right now. It would probably take me, what would take somebody 5-10 minutes to do, but it'd probably take me a half hour to 45 minutes. And I'm not even being, you know, I'm not even lying about that, okay? And my body just would not give. It just would not, you know, just would not. I was in so much pain, so much pain. And so my friends convinced me, you need to apply for disability. There's no way that you can work again. And I'm like, but I just got my degree to better us and better our situations and everything. And, you know, I didn't get to use it, my Bachelor of Arts or my Master's, you know, not really. I mean, it comes in handy for me here because I'm able to say things to you. I can speak. I could do all these things that I learned. That's what I got my degree in. You know, I was a trainer. I trained the management staff at this company. You know what I mean? I did all the paperwork at this company. I did everything at this company, basically, as the office manager, who wasn't making office manager salary. I could just tell you that right now. And so being home, you know, moving into this new place. So, you know, I didn't like it here. You know what I mean? But I mean, it is what it is. We had to move. And this was the closest we can find to Zoe's school, which is like 5 minutes up the street. Fun fact, her school, where she graduated high school, is directly across from where she works now, where she's been working for 3 years. So we're right here, you know, 5 minutes away. I mean, she could technically walk. It's 5 minutes by car. It's not 5 minutes walking. There's a big difference. And so we're close, you know what I mean? And we're in our little area here. And so, you know, my friends, I would see everybody online, on Facebook, you know, everybody at the table having dinners and toasting and, you know, things that you think, oh, that's only on TV. No, it's not. Or only in the let them theory, right? No, it happened to me. You know, and I'm like, wow, they all went out without me. You know what I mean? Nobody called, nobody invited me, nobody said anything. And this happened quite a few times, you know, quite a few times. And that's when you start to know who your friends are. You know what I mean? Who your friends are, and, you know, like, wow, you know, my friend is here on a trip with all of our other friends, or at a restaurant, out to dinner, at the club, or wherever. But I'm not there. Why am I not there? You know what I mean? And you start thinking about that, you know? And so she says, she looked through those photos one by one, seeing a girl's trip through the eyes of the very same women who I had raised my kids with in our small suburban town. I tried not to let it bother me, but it did. Oh, and it does. She says, my mind started filling in all the details. I imagined how much fun they were having and how close they had become. I had known these women for years. We bonded over barbecues, carpools, soccer games, date nights with our spouses, and hard conversations about parenthood. So naturally, I started to spiral. And I did that too. I was spiraling out of control when I would see those pictures, you know. So she says, as I kept on scrolling through their photos, turning those questions over and over in my head, Chris walked into the room, took one look at me and asked, what's wrong? And this is her husband. She sighed and told him the truth. I just found out a bunch of my girlfriends went away for the weekend on a really fun trip. I obviously wasn't invited. That sucks, he said. Maybe I did something wrong, I said. Maybe they're mad at me? He crossed his arms and asked me, why do you care so much? And she just looked at him. And you know, he said to her, it's not like you're close friends with them anymore, Mel. He was right. I knew he was, but I still felt this urge to reach out and smooth things over. I'm sure you've experienced this before. Ding, 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 I have. Oh, yes, I have. You find out that you weren't included in something, and all you want is some kind of reassurance that there wasn't something you had done wrong. You know what I mean? And it's just like, you know, the stuff, you know, the stuff. That's what I say. When I'm here, you know what I mean? My friends here, you all are amazing and magnificent. You know what I mean? I have met so many people in this short time of me being back on this platform that, you know, just wow me. Just wow me. You know what I mean? As my spiritual Rain does, you know, she pats her heart. Yes. Yes. I'm patting my heart for you all. Because you all are in here. You know what I mean? And we will forever be here. We will forever be here. And, you know, there's so many of you that, you know, a couple of you I talk to every single day. Every single day. You know what I mean? A day doesn't go by that I'm not speaking to you. You know what I mean? And it just makes my day. I don't understand how I could live without you in my life now. You know, I don't understand. I don't know how. But that is devastating. You know, when you know that you didn't do anything to anybody, and you're like, well, why would they all go on a trip and not invite me? Or why would they all go out to dinner and not invite me? Why would, you know what I mean? And that's just people. You know, it's just people. And like her husband said, why do you care? What do you care? So what? Let them go to dinner. Let them go on their girls' trip. Why do you care? And he was absolutely right. We shouldn't. But in that moment, of that happening, you just spiral. You think of, your mind goes to all the worst places, and you're like, oh my God, these were my friends, and now they're not my friends anymore. What did I do? You know what I mean? It's like, you know, and I had to learn that. You know, I had to learn that. Just to say, yeah, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever. You know, a lot of times I don't think things are done intentionally, but a lot of times they are. You know, a lot of times they are. And a lot of times people do things to hurt you. You know what I mean? That makes no sense, but they do, you know. And they know that either you're busy building your empire, or like Mel, or in my case, that, you know, I had lost my job. My car was repossessed. I couldn't go out unless somebody invited me, paid for me, picked me up, brought me home, all of that. And they weren't going to do that. They weren't going to do that. Now, mind you, if it was on the other foot, I would have did that in a heartbeat. Shit, if the shoe was on the other foot, I would ask them, what bills do they need me to pay for them every month until they get on their feet? How can I help them? I'll make sure you have food in your house every day. How is your daughter getting to school? All of that. I would have been the person who would have been there for every single thing, okay? And I would have thought of things that people don't even think of. Like, I had a friend who, you know, grateful for her. I didn't ask her this. This is somebody I didn't know, by the way, somebody I met online on Facebook. And she sent me something. I think she sent me groceries. And I was so surprised, and I was delighted. You know, I was surprised. I'm like, oh my God. But, you know, not to be ungrateful, because I'm not ungrateful, but if you're going to send somebody something like that, and you know that they're not working, or they're just having a rough time, or whatever's going on, you need to ask them, if you are able to do that in the first place, which you are because you sent it to them, ask them the things that they really need. You know what I mean? If you don't want to send money, but they really need water to drink, or they really need toilet paper to wipe their butts, or they need toothpaste to brush their teeth, ask them those things before you go off willy-nilly and send a whole bunch of shit that nobody can use, but you're just doing it to make yourself look good. You know what I mean? And you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Don't just do something to make yourself look good because you're helping somebody else. Do the right thing. You know, if you know that you want to help somebody, then ask them what they need and what they want. Just don't take it upon yourself to, oh yeah, and then talk about it later. Oh, well, I bought her groceries and I did this and I did that. Okay, but first of all, I didn't ask you to. Second of all, you didn't ask me anything of what I needed or wanted. You know what I mean? The stuff you sent me, yeah, that was all good and well, but it's stuff that my daughter and I don't even use or eat. So why would you do that? You just did that to make yourself look good. You know what I mean? Because you're always bragging about everything you have and this and that and da-da-da. And that was the case with this person. Yes, that was the case. And we're no longer friends. I had to block them too, by the way. But yeah. So, you know, you just have to let people just be them. You know what I mean? And just don't let it upset you. And it's way easier said than done. I think now, because I am a crone, which I explained that yesterday, and I'll explain it again to you about being a crone. I have to find it. But, you know, you can't always, I want to say, you can't always expect people to, include you, or the people who you think are your friends are probably not really your friends. You know what I mean? And it took me the wisdom of being 50 years old and now 60 years old in my Sexagenarian era to learn that. You know what I mean? To learn that. And a crone, the spiritual meaning of a crone. In spiritual and feminist context, the crone archetype often part of the Maiden-Mother-Crone Triad. And if you watch the beautiful spiritual rain, she did a whole video on this yesterday on her channel. And I think I did, I don't know if I put it down below or not in my video yesterday. I'm not sure, but it was a beautiful video where she did explain that. The maiden, the mother, and the crone triad. She explains that. They represent wisdom, experience, and the acceptance of endings and rebirth, embodying the final stage of a woman's life circle is the crone. You know, and the crone is seen as a repository of knowledge and life lessons, having navigated the cycles of birth, growth, and transformation. Yes, and that is me. You know, and that is me. And, you know, when you get this age, you have a lot of wisdom. You do, and a lot of things to talk about. And you've had a lot of experiences, you know. And these things in this day and age don't bother me. But the younger me, yes. Yes. Totally, totally. Had me spiraling. But now it's like, you know, I don't even care. I don't have the time to care. I really don't. Do you? And you know, it's probably a blessing that I wasn't invited and I wasn't included and all of that in the first place. And I'm fine with it. You know, I'm fine with it. I was talking to one of my dear friends this morning, you know, and she's like, she's becoming a recluse. And I says, I am too, because I love being in my house. I love being in my dwelling. Do I love this dwelling? No. Totally different. I don't love this dwelling, but I love being in here. I don't need to be in the street. I don't need to be around phony people. I don't need to do any of that. I'm very happy being at home every single day. I go out every day, twice a day. I take my daughter to her destination at work, and then I come home. And then I go back to pick her up at night, and I come home. Unless I have little errands to do in the day, which is very rare. I don't usually do anything without my daughter because I walk with a cane and everything. I can't always carry a lot and do a lot. So whenever we do errands or anything, we're together, and it's usually on her day off, you know, whenever she's off. Now, today she was off in the middle of the week, which is so odd because she's never off on a Wednesday. I don't know what that was about. Her normal days off are Sundays and Mondays. And so she was off Sunday and Monday, and she worked yesterday, and now she's off today, which is stupid. I don't understand it at all, but you know, they make the dumbest schedules where she works. And they do the silliest things, you know what I mean, to ruin people's livelihood. I couldn't work. I couldn't work anymore. You know, the people, the management, I was a trainer of managers and stuff. No, I do not have my SHRM certification, HR, anything like that. But I have my education. And I know what a manager is supposed to do and what they're not supposed to do and how they're supposed to treat the people who work for them and how they're not supposed to treat the people that work for them. And I have to tell her every day when she comes home and there's something, she's saying something, I'm like, I couldn't work there. There's no way. I would have been fired in the first 5 seconds. 2.5 seconds, they would have said, Miss Milner, come to the office. Here's your, you know, you're out. Period. Turn over your badge, you're out. Because the dumb things that they do and say every day to the employees is ridiculous to me. And I would not stand for that. I just would not stand for that. At 60 years old, I'm not standing for that. You can't talk to me any kind of way. You can't move me and pull me and do me any kind of way because you have your favorites at work so they can do whatever they want to do. And I'm busting my ass, but you're going to move me from here, there, and the other. I can't just be at the station that I love to be at. You know, all these little things is what she deals with on a daily basis. And I don't know how she does it. I tell her every day, I'm like, I don't know how you do that. Better you than me, because I wouldn't have a job. I would cut somebody. If I had to go back to work today, I would not make it. I would not, because I cannot deal with bullshit. I just can't. You know, I can't. But yeah, I thought that chapter 2 of the Let Them Theory. I thought it resonated with me because it was me. Everything that she said, that happened to me, except it wasn't a girls' trip at the time. As a matter of fact, I take that back. One was a girls' trip, and one was just like where they were out, and about a couple pictures where they were out to dinner, lunch, things like that. And then one was a trip, a girls' trip, which I wouldn't have been invited to anyway. I wouldn't have gone on it anyway. But it was just the point of it, the matter. You know what I mean? Like, wow. And I would have never done that to them. You know, I would have never done that at all. You know, I would smooth it over. I would have said, I know that you can't go right now because of finances, whatever, but, you know, this is what we're doing. You know, I'll be thinking about you. I'm going to bring you a souvenir, blah, 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 whatever the case is. But I would never have done something like that to my friends, which is why she wasn't their friend. They were acquaintances, you know, and you get to know the difference. The older you get, you know the difference. You know, these stories of people saying, oh, she was my friend. She was never your friend. Because if that person was your friend, they would have never done the bullshit to you that they did. They would have never done that to you. So those people were never your friends. They were acquaintances, and they were jealous. And a lot of these things happen for jealousy. You know what I mean? Like I said with my friend who was my best friend for over 10 years. With her big house and her education and her everything. But the day I decided to go back to college and get my degree to better myself, she decided that she hung on for a little bit. She hung on for a few months. And then she waited. And then she went in with the jugular and was like, she left me all these breadcrumbs, 10 little breadcrumbs, 10 little messages. And when I got to about, oh, yeah, we did da-da-da-da. And oh, yeah, da-da-da-da-da. And oh, yeah, da-da-da-da. Because we used to do that every weekend. Call each other and leave messages because we knew we would be busy doing things with our kids, parents, blah, blah, blah. So everything was fine. When I got to that 10th message, she was like, oh, and by the way, we're not friends anymore. I was like, huh? I was like, wait, what happened? I was like, wait, what? Yeah, she sent me a Dear John letter. And to this day, I can't find it. I had it in my computer, and I can't find it anymore. But yeah, she sent me a Dear John letter. I'm like, okay. What? I mean, because I made 2 new friends going back to college who are not even in my life today. You know what I mean? But you would begrudge me that, but you had your master's degree. You had your beautiful job making buku bucks. You had your big house that you just bought. You know, getting ready to buy a brand new car. Dating somebody that you were getting ready, unbeknownst to me, to marry. You know what I mean? Like, but you would be jealous of me for trying to better myself and move my family ahead. You know what I mean? So I'm like, she was never my friend to freaking begin with. She was not. Because you are happy. I'm happy for my friends. When I see them do something, something's coming up for them, whatever, I am the biggest cheerleader and I am so happy for you. Yes, you deserve it. I'm so happy for you. That's not for me. That's for you, and I'm happy for you. Why would I be jealous? You know what I mean? I don't understand that. It's just like here on YouTube. Yeah, I admire these people that have the big numbers or who just got on here 30 days ago and they're already almost monetized and have gotten over 1,000 subscribers and everything. I'm so happy for you. But I'm not jealous of you because everything that's going to happen for me is coming to me in the divine timing that is coming to me in. You know what I mean? And it's just, I don't know, maybe that's my age too. You know, my croneness. I'm wearing my crown. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I don't get how people think that. I don't get the jealousy, and especially of women. You know, how we treat each other is deplorable. I'm always trying to build my sisters up. Always trying to build my sisters up. I'm not begrudging you and jealous of you and all that. No. Because what's for you is for me. We're all together here. You know what I mean? And what's for me is for you. You know, I'm all about that. I'm all about the community. I'm not about that, well, she has this, and how come she got that, and I didn't get that, and oh, I can't stand that. You know, that just goes through me. And I had a young lady online once, and she was posting some stuff that I didn't agree with. And she posted this woman, a heavy-set woman, and this is way before I started losing weight or anything. And the woman was not dressed well for her size. I'll just say that. And so somebody took a picture of this woman and made a meme out of it and put it all over. But I don't think you could, I don't know if you could see the actual woman's face. I think it was from the side or the back of her. And this one young lady, friend of mine, she was a classmate of mine when I had gone back to school to get my degree. She was ahead of me. And beautiful person, you know what I mean? But why would you repost that and say something and laugh and blah, blah, blah? And I said something to her. I says, why would you do that? You're a female and you are belittling another female on this platform. You don't know this woman. You don't know if you're posting this and she has children or family or somebody out here and they're going to see you posting this picture of her. You don't know that. So why would you do that? And so she took it down. She said, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't think about that. Of course you didn't. But why would you do something like that? I'm not going to belittle anybody because I want to, you know, I'm not going to lie because I want views on my videos like some of my friends here have done. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to say I found you this way and I saw you that way and I did this, and this for you to make somebody watch my video. I mean, it's so contrived and ridiculous. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to post a picture of somebody going through a hard time or somebody overweight, struggling, or any of the above to get views and clicks and likes and subscribers. I'm not going to do that. You know, I'm not going to do anything like that. You know, so that's it. That's all I had to say today. That was my ramble for today. But yeah, so, you know, we got to try and be nice to each other and let them do them. As Mel Robbins says, let me be me, let them do them. You know what I mean? Basically. You know, I'm doing me. I'm in my house. I'm happy here. I don't have to go out. I don't have to do anything if I don't want to. You know what I mean? And forget it. If I have to get on a highway or something, I was telling my friend this morning, forget it. It depends on where it is too. Because if you're way across town or something, I'm not doing that. I'm not getting in my car and putting miles on my car and driving with the highway and crazy people and whatnot. No, I don't need to do that anymore. I don't. I don't need to be seen. I don't need to be in the know like that. I'm seen right here. And this is where I want to be right now. I'm building something here. And when it's time for me to do those things, I'll be flying in private jets and I will have drivers taking me around to do things. Yes, I will. And then all those people will come back and, oh, Lexi, that. Yeah, I'm like, no. Absolutely not. You didn't have time for me before, and guess what? I don't have time for you now. So on that note, I just thought that was a good ramble for our Wednesday hump day. Good ramble for today. But anyway, Yappy and I are going to say goodbye until, or see you soon. We'll see you tomorrow, most likely. And I just want to say deuces. And remember, read this or do the audio if you don't do books. I have to have a book. I have to have the copy. But read this and the Book of Boundaries. They go hand in hand. Pretty much most of the things I read, I find like they go hand in hand with each other. And these two books, to me, go hand in hand. So get them. I think you'll enjoy them and you'll see so many similarities to things. And you'll be like, oh, wow, yeah. Like that story today. So, love you. Deuces. Love you plenty, plenty, plenty. Till next time.